Welcome to Rhythm of Love, the podcast. I'm Clarence.
And I'm Yalonda. We celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary by writing a book together about what it took to get us here.
And in this podcast, we go deeper and break down what we learned along the way. We hope you enjoy and engage.
Comment, share, and subscribe. We'd love to hear what you have to say about what it takes to make relationships last.
Yes, we will.
So are we doing the intro to the thing, or are we just going to dive in?
I think you have to welcome people.
Right. And I mean, put it at the end. Well, the welcome, and then you edit it to the beginning. That's what I mean.
This miracle of editing that you think that I'm doing.
Aren't you a miracle of editing?
I don't know what this miracle of editing that you think I'm doing is.
Okay. Welcome. This is the Rhythm of Love, the podcast. I am Yalonda.
And I'm Clarence.
And we celebrated our 25th anniversary by writing a book called The Rhythm of Love, 25 Things That 25 Years of Marriage Taught Us. We just celebrated year 28.
Absolutely.
And of course, the learning is still ongoing. And so we just want to look back at the book, at some of the things that we learned in the book, as well as some things that we are still working on as we move forward to 29, 30, and beyond.
Correct.
So thank you for joining us.
And welcome back. We know we've been gone a couple of weeks, but we've been busy.
DJ C Sharp has been busy.
We've been busy, but we're here tonight.
Yes.
It's nighttime for us.
Well, it's night for us. Whenever you're watching it, here we are with episode 15?
15 or 16.
Uh-oh.
I think it's 16.
Episode 16. What are the benefits of marriage?
So, how was your week? We'll get into the episode. Let's talk about how your week was.
How was my week?
We've been gone for a minute, so let's let people know how you're doing.
So, I started the week. If the week starts on Sunday, I started the week with my girls in Philly. The day after seeing Usher in concert in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a great start to the week. Also wonderful that I got home that evening. We streamed and we had a Monday. Love a Monday holiday. Right now we're recording on the Saturday after Labor Day.
Right.
So I am always ecstatic to have Monday off. In fact, I keep thinking I should just make my schedule so that I have Monday off.
You can do it.
But homies want to have all kinds of meetings on Monday.
Monday's the beginning of the week.
Yes.
Monday's the beginning of the week.
They want to set the tone for the week on a Monday. So I can't be like, you know what? I'm not working on Mondays. I think that would not be received well. But
they would take a Friday before they would take a Monday.
Amen. So it was a short week, but it was a productive week. It was a good week. I'm satisfied with this week. I'm satisfied, even with the way that it's coming to a close. We hung out with DJ Chanel B.
It's funny.
She's watching. Our celebrity friend.
Right. So I've never seen Usher in concert.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you think about his show? He had the huge Vegas residency run, and now he's doing this. I think it's a national tour. I'm not sure if it's a world tour.
It might be a world tour, but don't give me the lying because I haven't been on the tour page to know where else he's going. But I think 2025 is international. Okay. But anyway, so first of all, let me start by saying this: I'm not like the number one top Usher fan or anywhere near. There's some songs that I really like. There's some songs that our daughter plays all the time from her room.
Yes.
On volume 1000. So I know them by heart. So I'm not an Usher fan. I do like Usher. I think I love what he brings, what he gives. We just had a discussion about whether he was the king of R&B or not, the current king of R&B or not. We can get back into that in a minute.
We'll put that up for vote. But yeah, I think he's. My position is he certainly is the number one R&B
male artist
right now.
Yes, and that's all I'm saying.
And I'm not sure that makes him the king of R&B. Like
the current king, the reigning king.
Aretha Franklin was the queen of soul, and she's the queen of soul until someone else is the queen of soul.
Takes her down.
Right.
But I mean, who's taking him down? Who's taking Usher down?
First of all, like I said, regardless of how long he spends in jail, R. Kelly is the king of R&B. Regardless of how long he's
in jail and not in the conversation.
Regardless of how long he's ever spent in jail.
You cannot be king from jail. Tell Trump he cannot be king from jail.
You got a whole president trying to do. We got a whole guy trying to be it.
So let's not crown someone else a king of anything. Except
he was crowned
king of
long before he went into it.
King of being incarcerated.
So he was king before he went to jail.
Make another song, and then I'll think about whether he's the king of that.
Yeah. He won't make another song. He won't make another song.
He could even be writing songs for other people. I wonder if he is. Everybody just like, I don't even want to work with you. I can't work with you. I can't say
I think he's
singing a song.
I think he's a pariah.
By R. Kelly.
I think he's strictly a pariah.
So that leaves him out of king status for me. By other people may disagree.
But you know, I digress. That's all. That's all.
Digress.
All subjective.
The question is about
the
show. I wish I had all 100% positive things to say about it. Not being Usher fan, I thought, there were plenty of songs that I did not know the words to.
Okay.
And so I think partly is the venue as well, because I couldn't hear.
And I didn't
already know the song. Yes, we were at the Wells Fargo Arena where the 76ers play. And I don't think this is a good arena for music concerts.
Acoustics, isn't it?
Yes, okay. Because for our seat, we did not pay the big bucks to sit down on the lower level. So we were up on the upper level, and they only have one upper level. It's not like they got nosebleeds or anything like that. So we weren't super far, but it felt like it in terms of the sound. Like there were times that I felt like I could not hear him singing. And I'm not sure if that's because he wasn't singing or if it was because I just couldn't hear him. Like I could hear, and sometimes I could hear him crystal clear.
Right.
So maybe he just really was not singing as much as I expected.
So, I mean, so I know that one of the things that you said when you came home to was you compared them to a Prince show that we went to see many years ago.
At the Verizon Center in D.C.
Which is, a similar kind of venue from the layout of it and things like that. And I don't recall ever not hearing a note.
No, never not hearing a note. So I don't know if it was the sound people that he hired or that the Wells Fargo Center works with or whatever, but there was something going on with that sound. And I was even to the point where I was like, maybe I should get my hearing checked because everybody else seems to be hearing just fine. Is it me? But, especially when I didn't know the song. It's like when I knew the song, I guess I'm singing along and
that helps it get through.
That helps all the sound get through, I guess. So I wished he had sang more during the concert. But in terms of performing, the whole skating portion of the show,
the entertainment,
the entertainment value of the show was super high.
Right.
I was a little bit confused. He had a theme, it was like past, present, and future, and it was like a kind of a computer voice and a screen that kept doing all kinds of crazy things. That was like, what? Maybe I'm not in the audience. I'm not a young woman like that anymore, so I don't know. But
would you recommend somebody else to go see it?
Yes, I would recommend, especially if you're an Usher fan and you didn't see him in Vegas. I wish I had seen him in Vegas.
I heard the Vegas show was amazing.
Yes, I wanted to be able to say this was an amazing show. But there was a lot there that was very, very, very good. Of course, his dancing is excellent. Of course, his choreography and the way he used the way, the setup of the stage and the way he used it. And there was a time, it was a point at which there was a camera, like a still camera, unmanned, at one portion of the stage, and he would just come and sing into the camera, So those were always feel good moments right there. Abs on point, cannot complain about the abs and the shirtless portions of the show.
I'm sorry. Was that loud? Okay.
No, yes, I get it. I would be breathing the same hard if you was talking about somebody else's body parts other than mine. But I just, eye candy is eye candy. And listen, I don't begrudge you for indulging at times.
I mean, the question came up in the stream on Sunday, because I have been kind of messing with Yalonda all week long and all leading up to the show that, Usher been scooping up aunties lately, and she might not make it back home. And
which is just the most ridiculous thing.
Flowered the way she was left. She might be deflowered by the time she got back home. So I wanted to make sure that she, I wanted to let her know how much I loved her and that it would be okay, and that I would, just come home, baby, just come home kind of thing. But, we all talked about, on the stream on Sunday, whether or not someone asks you, someone famous like that, says, hey, will you fly down to the next show with me? Or do you go to this place with me? Would you
Only
go?
if I could bring a friend.
Yeah,
Yeah. If I could bring at least one friend, if not 2 or 3. Can I bring my girls with me? Let's go.
I'm not even sure I would be mad.
Begrudge you, right?
I wasn't sure I would be mad.
If Jill Scott was after the show was like, oh, I watched your stream. I love your DJ skills. Come with me. I would not be like.
That's not the same.
Oh, okay.
That sounds like somebody. That sounds like somebody come working. Please come work for me. I love what you do. Please come do it with me.
But I think I would have a bigger problem with that. Like, how do we figure out life if you went on tour with somebody? But anyway, that's a whole other topic that is just a pipe dream in terms of we're not even connected in that way. But yeah. And my girls and I talked about that, and sure enough,
y'all had a plan.
Well, I mean,
y'all had talked it through. We
were asking ourselves, would we be the type of friend who would be like, no, girl, don't you do that? You have a husband at home, because we're all married. So it's like, would we be like, you got a husband at home, don't go, don't go backstage, don't do this, don't do that. Or would we be like, yeah, girl, go ahead.
It's a tough call. I
mean, and this is not about cheating. This is not about cheating at all. I think cheating is off the table. And I would hope that you think that cheating is off the table. Because.
Yes.
Sir.
Yes. It's off the table. Yes. It is off the table.
Cheating is, I could say with assuredness that cheating is off the table. Abs or no abs, my life at home is worth more to me than a fling on the road with someone. No, and maybe because it's Usher, and I've never been into Usher like that. Like, oh, he's so fine. I would give it up.
So here we go. Morris Chestnut.
Right. The net.
Morris.
No, I mean, I guess
Chestnut.
I'm just not I would want to spend a night with you, with a person, and know them.
We're not talking Ricky.
I'd rather just
Morris Chestnut. We talking best man.
Right,
we talking best man. Morris Chestnut.
Ricky was fine too. He's always been fine from the moment he stepped on the scene. So I had no complaint. Young Morris Chestnut, older Morris. He's Asian like fine wine.
So I might be able to get over it. It's not a lot of things I can get over, but
I wouldn't even want you to have to get over that. I wouldn't want you to have to think about whether I'm thinking about it later, because of course I would be. Right?
It's a Robert Redford moment. This is what was that? Indecent proposal? It's a Robert Redford moment.
Dudes be like, you see it all the time on the internet. Dudes be like, I asked her for an open relationship. And now they're down bad because she's out there having the time of her life. And he's like, oh, I just really wanted to sleep with my coworker real quick.
It's just...
and just get back to
maybe I'll
back
leave
to
it.
life. Yeah, like, just... because it's going to change the relationship. I don't care if they're famous or whatever. It's going to change the relationship to know that your spouse was with someone else. Even if this was like a guaranteed one night stand. And maybe it's not guaranteed. I might blow his mind. Blow his mind.
You might, babe.
They be calling me all the time. I be like, Morris, all right, I'm back to my family. Stop calling me.
Stop calling me. That's hilarious.
Lose my number, dude.
I mean,
I know it was all of that, but
it's so funny. That's pretty funny.
But no. I draw the line there.
Okay. So I just, I wanted to make sure you got a chance to talk about this concert. I knew that you.
Yeah, of course, you knew that.
But they did.
Felt about
but you guys didn't get a chance.
Didn't know.
You
yes.
didn't get a chance to.
Yes, but no, I would recommend it. I would recommend you choose your venue wisely if you can. I would recommend you pay a little more for your seat so that you can have a good seat.
But
I wasn't down there.
A little more is hundreds of dollars.
Right. He walks down the between the sets of people, and that's how you get all those videos of people are like touching him and close to him and taking selfies with him and all of that. Like, man, I'm in the wrong section. He was never gonna come up to where we were.
It would take him a while. It would just take him a while. He'd have to come through the back.
Right. He could do it. He could do it if he really wanted to. But trust, security was heavy. Security was heavy even as he was walking down that aisle.
I've often said that women going to see men are way more out of control than men going to see women.
Yeah, I'm sure. Y'all need to keep y'all hands to yourselves. I think these women need to keep their hands to themselves, though.
They just don't. They just don't.
You can see him, though, like, making moves. Like, he had his matrix moves ready when the women would be so bold as to, like, try to touch his face. Like, don't get off my face. You do not know me. Do not touch my face.
I told you. Women will take liberties with you that men would never take. Because security will beat you over the head with that walkie-talkie.
Which is well deserved, and it's
men never lose sight of that.
Because security are men that they can't beat these women down. Maybe they should get some women security so the women can smack these other women and say,
"Get you right over the head with the walkie-talkie.
Get your hands off." But yeah.
So, all right. So, what is our topic for this week?
So, our topic for this week is the benefits of marriage.
You get to go to see Usher. That should be number one.
Is that a benefit of marriage? Because I think it was a lot of single people there.
Okay. So, this is one of those internet things, because I've been seeing it on the internet as well.
Yes, that people, I don't know if it's just in the Black community, or I hear that it's an issue in China as well, that there are fewer marriages and they're doing all kinds of government-related things to help men become better at dating and better at possibly making that lifelong match. So it might be global. That, marriage in and of itself as an institution has a bad rap. And that we aren't seeing enough positive about marriage. Like when somebody famous is getting divorced, it is just like everywhere. You can't, if you are on social media.
And you don't even have to be that famous. But yeah.
Right, you don't even have to be that famous. Or you could have been famous years ago, or,
I was following, I listened to the Higher Learning podcast, and Rachel Lindsay, who was one of the original bachelorettes. If she wasn't the original bachelorette, she certainly was the first black one that I saw. And the guy who she met and they got married
on the show.
Yeah, I don't know if they got married on the show. But
I mean,
the guy she met on the show.
She chose on the show.
But they recently got divorced, and she is the primary breadwinner, if you want to call it that. She makes makes more money than him, and all of the things that she is going through in divorce is crazy, but it is typical for. If the roles were reversed, the same types of things that people go through. So, I'm saddened for whoever has to go through that, male or female.
Yes.
But she's obviously going through a lot, and it's in her case different from or the regular person is. She's just going through it publicly. Right. People are getting to see. People are getting to hear the reports and things like that about.
And that news travels, and that news, everybody, there's so many tweets and so many articles and so many, Instagram posts or whatever about this type of thing, about marriages ending. I've seen people just say, what makes you think that getting married is going to protect you from being a single mom? Or you only got a 50-50 chance to stay married anyway. So what's the big deal? Why are we putting so much stock? Why do some people put so much stock in marriage? And I'm wondering a lot of things. The first thing I want to ask is, do you think that prenups should just be the standard? The standard. Yes, that we should push that.
So I think that the reason prenups exist are based around the rules of divorce, the things that come out of divorces. And I think the things that come out of divorces are somewhat archaic in what they have developed in over the years. There was a time, especially, before the women became more prominent in the workplace, when they were a lot of homemakers, where it makes perfect sense for a divorce to happen and that man to bear some responsibility to kind of help that woman transition into what's going to be a single life for her, because she's never had to work, or she's never developed any skills, because her skill was being a homemaker. So I understand why those rules were put into place, or those, maybe they're not rules as much as they are social norms. Those legal norms. I understand that. But those things are archaic the same way, and we may lose a person on here from this, the same way the Second Amendment is archaic in how it's applied. It's applied. Just no one anticipated that this is where it would go at some point in time, and the rules need to change with the times, and I don't think that they are. Or if they are pretty slowly. So I think that a prenup at this point should be standard for every marriage. If you're going to get married, the prenup should just say, this is, what we have. And people try to get emotional about it.
Right. And saying, as if you're planning to get a divorce. That's like, our marriage is going to last. We're not going to need to talk about if it ends, because that means we're thinking it's going to end.
Right.
Before we die.
Why get health insurance?
Or before one of us die. Right. Why get health insurance?
Why have car insurance? I'm never going to have an accident. I'm a safe driver. I'm this, I'm that.
Right.
So
also, like, why have a will?
Why have a will?
People have wills. I guess everybody does.
Everybody does.
So everybody doesn't get a divorce. But, a lot, when the percentage is high, as high as it is, that you will either get in a car crash or that you will likely that you may or may not stay married.
I mean, you and I grew up in a time where you didn't even have to wear seatbelts.
Right.
And now you got to wear seatbelts everywhere. Our kids don't know a time of not wearing seatbelts.
Not even at all.
Right. So the point is, there are always things that you can put in place that are not predictors of the outcome, but they are safety nets should the worst case scenario happen.
Occur. Yes. And it's okay to think it like that. And to go into a marriage thinking that.
And it could be, and in my mind, it's pretty simple. It is, if we both have nothing, if we both have nothing
coming in,
then we split everything that we have acquired in the time that we've been together.
Yes,
we split everything, and then we move on our separate ways. If I have something or you have something, then there should be some type of term insurance type of deal. You know, they say, hey, for 10 years after this happens, we're going to do X, Y, Z. You know, alimony is not set up that way. Alimony is set up until you marry somebody else, which if I'm the person getting alimony, why would I ever get married?
I really think we need to rethink that whole, is that like a law? Is that, can we change that?
Alimony is
again, 10 years to get on your feet. You should not need someone else's money 10 years down the line. Mm-hmm. I can see child support lasting until the child is 18.
Yes.
If you're the person that has 100% custody of the children. But alimony, people say marriage is permanent. And that makes it seem like it is permanent, regardless of whether we actually stay married or not.
Right.
I'm still obligated to you.
Right. So,
and even, outside of taking care of the kids together.
So that's why I think they are out of touch and they are out of date and there needs to be some adjustments. So that is my take on a prenup. You should. I have no problem now. I say all that, but we don't have a prenuptial.
No, we don't have a prenup. I mean, and I guess it's too late to make a prenup. It's more just like a nup.
It's a nup now. Just a nup.
But I mean, you were saying that that it's archaic for a woman to be a stay-at-home mom and a stay-at-home wife or whatever.
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying the laws were built around that premise, and that premise is not true for the most part.
100% across.
Doesn't mean that there are not still women who stay at home. That doesn't mean that there are not now men who stay. I used to work for a woman, her husband Bob. He was a stay-at-home dad. Bob was a stay-at-home dad. She was a vice president. He was a stay-at-home dad.
Sure.
So
there is still room for a person to be, and you would have to fight in your prenup because. But
you could also, because it's a legal document, you can always amend it. Because circumstances can change.
So now, in the middle of the marriage, we're making like the decision that we made for me to come home.
Right. Because then
I would say, babe, we're gonna have to revisit the prenup.
We're gonna have to revisit the prenup, and that's fine. It's an option. It doesn't mean that it has
layer to add to a marriage.
We got to revisit this because we got basically the terms and the conditions that we have changed. Because what ends up happening is you make those changes because of the life that you live.
Right.
Something doesn't work out. You go back to court, and now that prenup thing that you had.
Right, it doesn't
fit the circumstances of your life.
I totally get why you're doing it. I'm just thinking about the actuality of having that conversation to say, so-and-so is coming home from work because of whatever circumstance. So let's go back and revisit the prenup.
So I've been accused of being not heavy on emotion.
Right.
So it's a real conversation for me, and I'm okay with it. I could understand somebody else being a little bit more emotional about it. But, you know, when you decided to come home for Simone, if we had some prenup and you said, hey, can we talk about this thing? Then that's fine. We talk about it and we figure out what we got to do. We sign the things because you got to do what you got to do. At this, I mean, and we didn't do that, but we did a bunch of things. Like when we got insurance, I got double the insurance on myself than I got on you.
Right.
Because I said, you need time to
I would need way more time to
move forward.
Be able to stand on my own 2 feet or whatever.
Right. So it's thought about. It just may not be thought about as divorce. It was thought about, in our case, it was thought about in death.
Death, yeah.
But it's, you know, to me, it changes the structure of marriage and makes marriage what it originally was, which was a legal contract.
Agreement. Yeah.
You know, that's why.
It still is. Marriage is still a legal agreement. We just enter into it with the romance.
If you go back to, like, you know, the olden days, and I'm talking, you know,
these are so specific.
15, 16, 1700s,
right,
1800s,
right,
where a woman's father gives her a dowry that she takes into the marriage.
Right.
And if she leaves, the
dowry is coming back.
Dowry comes with her, I believe. It's her money, her contribution to the estate.
The marriage.
So your father never gave me anything.
No doubt.
So if we can get rid of that, why can't we add these things? But there are still countries where people say, you know, what, you know, you're taking my daughter. The father pays for the wedding. The father, you know, does all of these things that are customary for that organization. So I just say we can make these things legal, and it doesn't hurt us. It hurts some feelings, maybe, but you know, maybe that's good.
Right. Maybe we need to remove away from our feelings for a moment and really consider the gravity of what we are entering into. Yes.
In Las Vegas weddings,
you don't even need.
They dry up. They dry up. Vegas weddings dry up. Right. I had a great deal at the crab table, and I got Elvis' wedding.
Have fun and pretend that you got married without that joint being a reality.
Right.
You can just fake it while you're drunk. Yes.
So.
Okay. So prenup. Yes, we're in agreement that maybe we need to think about adding in a prenup to marriage automatically. And okay, so now we're in the marriage. If someone were to come to you and say, you know, I'm thinking about getting married, a woman comes to you thinking about getting married, and she wants to know what you think about, you know, why should I get married? We're already together. We're having a great time. Why should we change this relationship to a marriage as opposed to just continue as we are? It makes it much easier to split up if we need to split up, if we get on each other's nerves. You know, how does a woman benefit from being a married woman?
So if I were to answer this question, it would be twofold. The first one is, as an unmarried woman, even in a very committed relationship, you are entitled to nothing. You are entitled to absolutely nothing. If, you know, there's no legal standing, there is no, it's all emotion.
Right.
So
if he goes to the hospital,
you can't even make a decision for him.
Yes.
You can't even make a decision about his life, his parents or his brothers or people who are related to him.
Yeah.
Get to make those decisions. So you don't have any standing as far as the world sees in this person's life.
Right.
So if you want that responsibility and you want to be the person that gets called and the person that handles those things, then that is a legal and technical reason to get married.
Mm-hmm.
From a past that.
Mm-hmm.
And this all assumes that it's a good relationship. It all assumes that.
I mean, right? Yeah, we wouldn't even be thinking about marriage if it wasn't a good relationship.
There is a peacefulness in having a safe harbor. There is a peacefulness in that. There is a joy and a happiness in having a safe harbor, a place where you can drop the facades that you have to put. You know, there's a huge Kamala Harris code switch thing going on right now with her thing. And, you know, I heard someone say, and I thought it was very accurate, that, you know, we being Black people have coined this phrase, but everybody does it. Mm-hmm. Everybody, no one.
I said it.
Oh, was it you?
Yes. Oh. Like if you're having beers with your friends at the football game, you're not talking 9 times out of 10 the same way to them as if you're that you would talk to your coworkers who you don't have personal relationships with.
Right. So,
or maybe white people have just that much privilege.
Both
and
of y'all
they
said
can.
it then. I think you and Van Lathan said it.
Oh,
so cool.
Me and Van Lathan on the same page.
Y'all on the same page. Okay. So, but the point is, everybody makes the adjustments of their personality and the way that they interact based on
where they are, who the people are, how close they are to them.
Right. And having a place where you can strip all of those things away and finally relax and finally just say, you know, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to put my hand in my pants because that's where I like to have it. And I'm going to watch TV and I'm going to wear dirty shirts and I'm going to do all these things. And I don't have to worry about someone
trying to impress.
Right.
I'm past it. I'm trying to impress.
I don't have to deal with any of that. To me, that is the real value of marriage, because from that standpoint, and people could say, well, you know, I'm in a committed relationship.
I can already do those things.
And the answer is there is always a layer and always a position of this ain't permanent when you're not married. You know, a lack of permanency. People talk about the pressure of marriage, and the pressure of marriage is that permanency.
There's permanency.
It is, you know, this is something that I'm actually committed to, not just emotionally, but also financially, also legally. All of those things are there. That is the pressure of marriage, and why some people can be dating for years and years and years and never have any problems, and then get married and struggle.
Right.
It's because and I don't want to say they had one foot out the door, but they always felt like they could leave. And, right. You know, and
there was a lot more freedom to leave because all you got to do is pack your bags and go find another place.
And that is where their peace was.
Right.
Their peace wasn't in the relationship.
Not in the person, right, but in their own capability, autonomy to be able to walk out and leave.
And they may not admit it. They may say that's not true,
or may not even consciously realize that.
But that's where their peace is. Their peace is not in the relationship. Their peace is in their own individual capabilities to make decisions about what they want to do.
Yeah.
And when you get married, you lose those things.
There's a level of vulnerability that is down to the core.
Yes.
It's down to the core. It's your whole person is in it.
I'm here.
Mind, body, soul. I'm really here and I've committed to you for as absolutely long as we can make it happen.
Right. Right. And some people it's 10 minutes. For some people it's 100 years. So.
Right.
And some people get it wrong and then get it right.
Yeah, true.
So some people get it wrong and get it wrong and get it wrong and get it wrong.
And then get it right
and
when
then
they're
get
single.
it right.
Or get it right. Just get their single life right.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's different for everyone. So that's what I would tell a person who was a woman who was considering marriage, that is the value, legitimately having a place where you can be yourself. And that's still something that is worked on. It's not, because it's not something that you may start out at.
Right.
You
or
come
that is
to it.
automatic. Yeah.
Right.
You do have to put some work in to get to that point.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think the safe harbor piece can extend a little further too, for me, than just being yourself. It's also just that landing spot, that it's not so much to me about being yourself as it is about, not that that's not included, but also, I don't know, if you have a happy home, then, it is everything that you think of what home should be. If you grew up in a happy home, or if you dreamed of a happy home because you didn't quite have one, but it's the togetherness. It's just always knowing. And sometimes you have this with a friend, but marriage just takes that oneness that much further. You always have someone who is rooting for you, who has your best interests at heart, who wants to see you grow and is going to do everything that they can to make that happen. And that is like super major. Yeah. And it's major to have that in someone who is in your home.
Right.
It's one thing to have it with a friend that you can call, but that friend has a life outside of you. And sometimes, they going through things, or they get caught up and they aren't able to be there for you. Whereas as the spouses have made that commitment, every time you come home, I'm here, and I'm here for you. And I think that another thought that I'm having is I feel like a lot of people are thinking about what they get from a marriage, which is why part of the reason why we aren't having that happy home image of, that I'm describing, that someone is for you and someone is got your back and always thinking about your best interests, because so many times we are only thinking about our own self-interests, our own, what is this marriage going to, what am I getting out of this marriage? Like, you can't have what I'm describing if you aren't ready to be that for someone else.
Perfect. You
got to be ready to be that first, and then you can get all these benefits.
It's a selflessness to marriage.
It very much is. Yes.
Yeah. To successful, long-term successful marriages.
And that makes me think of the thought of a failed marriage, or a failed, the kind of the stigma that is tied with having a marriage that didn't work out. I would like to see there be less stigma. Like, I can see you not wanting to get into a marriage that if it doesn't work out, then you're considered a failure. Your relationship is considered a failure. Sometimes it's just time for that relationship to end. I would never say that to anyone unless they were in some type of abusive relationship. But our goal is to have the longest lasting relationship that we can. But I would never want to shame someone to say, you should, you didn't give it all you had. And, if the marriage ends. And I think people, that's the stick portion of the carrot and stick of marriage that people want to avoid.
Yes, I can certainly see all of that. I can certainly see people wanting to avoid those things. And, you know, I'm sorry for people who are in those situations. I don't have, I used to be a lot more judgmental of people and the things that they went through. But as I've gotten older and realized how easy it is to be in those situations, how easy it is to feel those kinds of ways, I have moved away from that and tried to move to a place of empathy for them.
Yeah.
You know, it's not my stick. It's not what's happening to me, but I could certainly understand how you could get there and you could make this decision and decide that this is where you want to go. Mm-hmm. And I just hope that I never have to make that same choice.
Right. Exactly.
So, you know, so I get it. I get it. And I don't have anything. I don't have anything, you know, of encouragement to say to those people other than it's okay.
Right.
And
it's
these,
okay.
These things happen.
And it's not a mark against you.
Right.
It's not you don't need to be shamed.
But saying those kind of things don't always make people feel any better.
No.
But
just, my hope of taking away the stigma. But yes, so we were talking about the benefits. We talked about having a safe, happy place to go to where you're, because you can give yourself safety and happiness to a point, but it's something about that connectedness between the spouses, I think, that it can't be replicated in any other way.
So I think
when you're doing it right,
I think people desire connection.
Yeah,
whether that connection, people desire connection. Some people might say, it's because you get to have sex all the time if you want it. You got a permanent sex partner right there. That's and what I would argue is that it's not that. There are people in odd kinds of relationships. We'll call them that,
or just happy.
Whether they're polygamous relationships,
right.
whether they're
open marriages
and things like that. And that tells you that it's not the physical. It is the emotional. It is
right.
It's the connection,
the spiritual and emotional connection.
Because those people who have those kinds of relationships, a lot of times they'll tell you, I might be with this other woman, or I might be with this other man, but I'm never leaving this person.
I'm never leaving my spouse. Yeah, and
they get me
right. They're my person. No, I mean, I think, there's the legal benefits, there's the emotional benefits, there's, having a partner to help you to split the duties of the kids if you have kids. I think, it's a lot easier when you have a partner who's going to be also doing the diapers or waking up in the middle of the night or going to the PTA meeting or volunteering to be the coach on the baseball team. So, I think that is definitely a benefit that I really hope more marriages can experience. I love that, that men are trying to be partners to their wives and not just sex partners with their wives. I'm not sure what these men have been, we were talking about kind of the history of marriage, and in the history of marriage, women have just had to do everything. And there are women right now who are doing everything. And I really want for those women to have the benefit of having a spouse who is truly a partner with them. I like seeing more of that, and I hope that is encouraging to people who have a negative view of marriage, that you actually can find someone who wants to be a partner with you and not just quote unquote be the breadwinner and come home and do nothing else.
The world is changing.
Yeah. So what would you say? I mean, we're partners in that way. You know, you're a very hands-on dad. And I honestly don't know that I thought that you would be going in. I kind of just assumed, I guess just to the level that you are. You know, I already knew you weren't afraid to cook a meal or wash dishes or whatever before we ever had kids, do the laundry or whatever. But the level of engagement, I think, surprised me from the get-go. Happy surprise. So what did you think about at all? Like what kind of dad you wanted to be before you became a dad?
I just wanted to be there. I had a great example. You know, I had a great example of a dad who defined his relationship with us through support, not through, you know, we I would never say that we weren't middle class kids. You know, we were middle class kids. Mm-hmm. Lots of grass where we grew up, so we were, you know, not the concrete jungle kind of thing. So we spent a lot of time, you know, doing the things that kids do, and my father was there for most of it. So I had a good example. And I know that, and I hope that I've shown my kids what a good example is of that. You know, we support each other, and that's where my father always encouraged us. We support one another, and we're engaged, and that I knew that would be the type of dad that I would want to be. Mm-hmm. I never felt like, and I was fortunate because I don't want to take away from the dads. I'm fortunate because I have a job that doesn't put requirements on me that would prevent me or make it hard for me to do things. So that was easy for me to be able to be engaged because I had the type of job that supported us well enough and gave me enough free time to be able to do those things. And not all dads have that. So I get, not all moms have that. So I get that. But I saw a picture online of this guy at a basketball game with his daughter. And, you know, it was like a WNBA game. That's what it was. It was a WNBA game. And he was dirty, and it looked like, and I don't know what they said to him or how true any of this was, but their words were, you know, he worked a double shift in, you know, whatever mill, and he promised his daughter he was taking her to the game, and he just came and just took her to the game. Never even went home and showered or did any of those things. And the caption was, you know, I don't want to hear no excuses from no other dads out there about why they can't do these kinds of things. And, you know, that's the point. You know, just you do the things for the kids that you say you're going to do. You support them in the way you know, and you do those things. And sometimes it's at, you know, a cost to you. You know, it costs you something.
Yeah. Almost all the time it costs you something.
So, but you do it.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was the gist of it.
No, I mean, because it has to be done. Taking her to the game doesn't have to be done. But, you know, the care of the child has to be done. So if you're not doing it, someone else is doing it. And if y'all both have a job, then you both are going to be, you know, either somebody's going to be stretched to the max and exhausted all the time and never get a break and run from work to the game, to the PTA, to the parent teacher meeting, and the other person goes to work. Even if that work is a stressful work and they're working 70 hours a week or whatever. And so the care of the child still has to be done. So, I agree with the no excuses thing.
When your spouse believes in you, that you're both putting the child's interests first as often as you can,
mm-hmm.
then it makes it a lot easier.
It really does.
It makes it a lot
really
easier.
does. I had to get used to that because in our house, in terms of our lives as children, what my mom said went. She decided and she made it happen. And, my dad supported her because she was the mom and she probably knows best kind of thing. Whereas you came in with thoughts and opinions and plans and things. So I'm like, okay, this is different. I'm going to have to negotiate the rearing of my children with this guy. He's not going to just be like, oh yeah, you're the mom. Just tell me what to do. Whatever you say, I'll do it. But yeah, so we had to get to that point.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, we can trust each other. You're not going to do things exactly the way I do them and vice versa. But the point is, we both want this child to grow in a positive direction, to be able to become a strong and self-sufficient adult as much as possible, as much as they can be. So, don't try to tell myself to chill. It's okay if, they have hot dogs for dinner tonight, or whatever the case, that you still have their best interests at heart. But I think we have said a lot, and now we're getting into parenting, which is kind of a different topic. So we can wrap this thing up.
All right.
There are benefits to marriage. It does take you working and agreeing and communicating and arguing a little bit, and
maybe not even a little bit.
right, arguing a lot. Reflecting on yourself, being willing to sacrifice, being willing to say that you're wrong and accept that you're wrong, or that you have contributed to the negative part of the situation. But in the end, what you get, I think I saw a quote from Nicole Ari Parker, because if I'm going to admire a relationship, a celebrity relationship, from what, little they share with the public, I think I admire their relationship. They are both very successful, but yet seem to have time for each other and keeping it fun. But I think that, both of them have said in interviews or on, just in tributes to each other on IG or whatever, that, if you can get through, and Michelle Obama has said this thing as well, you can get through the kind of growing pains of either the beginning of the marriage or a time when someone is, a person in the marriage is growing into a different career path or different view of themselves and what they want to accomplish. If you can get through those growing pains, what you receive on the other side is glorious in comparison. You just have to be willing to push through those hard times when things get gross.
I'll agree with that. I would absolutely agree with that.
Yes. I think the quote, neither one of these things are quotes. They're very much paraphrases, but in the same article that I read about them, Boris said, It does take work and it does take effort every day to make our relationship what it is. But she's my person, and I would do the work, and I would do the work, and I would do the work because I want her in my life. So here's to y'all having someone special in your life for a lifetime. Amen and amen.
Amen and amen.
Housekeeping.
So by the time this episode airs, we will have had our Sunday night show where we always had. It'll be second Sunday though, so it'll be Soulful Second Sunday. So come on through and check that out. You won't be able to see that. And now that we don't stream it on Twitter because Elon Musk has said so, we don't do that either. So you got to catch us live on Twitch.
Catch it live.
Twitch,
so third Sunday is Triple Play Sunday.
So first of all, it's every Sunday.
Yes.
For the most part, there's going to be some Sundays we're going to miss coming up because I got some work. But Sundays, 9 p.m., twitch.tv/DJC Sharp, Heartbeats. So when this episode comes out, we will be prepping for Triple Play third Sunday.
Yep.
So we'll put an IG post out asking for you guys to see what people you guys want to see in Triple Play third Sunday.
We were just talking about possibly having Chico DeBarge featured for a Triple Play. So
you just ruined all the surprises.
It's bait to have them come. Chico DeBarge.
You think Chico DeBarge is bait? Chico DeBarge ain't bait.
He's bait because you want to say like Chico DeBarge. I gotta hear this. What 3 songs Chico DeBarge got?
Okay. So that's what we're doing there, and we're starting over the next 5 to 6 weeks. We're gonna be making some changes and making some adjustments to the show. So we are in a growth period of our own, trying to figure out and do some revamping and some cleaning up. We got our new backdrop that we built, that we all built, me, Yolanda, and Nathan. And we
mostly of those two.
And we got another piece that's sitting over there that's eventually going to go up here. We just haven't had a chance to mount it yet, but it's going to go up there. So we'll get to that soon enough. But that is it for us.
Thank you for joining us.
So we may even end up changing our I mean, it's so much we may end up changing, but we'll see how it goes from there. So we hope that you got some value out of learning what we think is the value in marriage. So, we call this the rhythm of love because this is our rhythm. This is how we move. So we hope that you can use our rhythm to maybe learn your own so that you can
live by the rhythm and love by the rhythm.
God bless you.
We hope you've enjoyed another exciting episode of Rhythm of Love, the podcast, hosted by Clarence and Yalonda Lewis.
Theme song by Kendra R.
Book graphics by Rayana Denise.
More information is available at cYLentertainment.com.
Please join us on Sunday nights for our live stream on twitch.tv/DJC Sharp.